This is a side plank for left rib flare. So in that side plank, we're really calling upon those obliques to help us control the position of those lower ribs. We need to get those obliques on to really get our ribs in a good position. So in that left-sided side plank, we're really going to call upon those obliques. It's very challenging, and we're going to just breathe here, taking into account what we learned of those good controlled inhalations and long, soft exhalations. Once we progress in this position, we can add that pause at the end of our exhalations and then inhale again to drive some additional expansion. So in that left-sided side plank, I'm on my left side, knees kind of bent at like a 45 degrees. Want to be careful here. We're not pushing our hips forward and our pelvis forward. We're just maintaining that position. I'm going to think about pushing actively through my left knee. So that's going to get this side glute on. I'm going to push actively through my index finger and my thumb on my left side. So I'm coming into that side plank, pushing through the left knee, pushing through my index finger and my thumb, keeping this top leg kind of connected, or you can even think about kind of driving it forward into that slight hip shift if that feels good in your body. And I'm going to reach forward. This reach is kind of facilitating some nice anterior and posterior expansion. I'm also thinking about almost turning my rib cage towards the left. Not so much that I'm turning towards the ground, but instead of flaring things open, I'm keeping it nice and controlled and adding that kind of rotation towards the left, which most of us need a little bit more of anyway. So inhale and exhale. Push away with that left knee. Feeling those left side abs. I would say start here with 3 to 5 breaths. You can do multiple sets, but it is challenging. So maybe 3 to 5 breaths, and you can do 2 to 3 rounds. Moving on to the right side, a little bit different. So we're in that same 45-degree setup, same with the elbow down on the ground, but instead of reaching forward, I'm gonna kind of reach up. So it's almost kind of bringing us into that more left side position in general, and we can control that left-sided rib flare as well. Pushing actively through the right knee. If you're having trouble feeling that right glute, I want you to think about pushing actively through the ground and then almost pulling it back in space. That should help kind of light that right glute up a little bit, which sometimes that right glute needs to kind of fire on a little bit more because it helps push us to that left side. And if you're in that typical asymmetry, maybe this right glute is not totally showing up like we want it to. So think about pushing through the index finger and thumb. We're coming up into that side plank position, pushing actively through the right knee and kind of almost pushing this into the ground to get that right glute on. And instead of reaching forward, I'm gonna reach up. Maintaining that push through the elbow and the index finger and thumb. And remember, inhale is controlled, exhale, long exhale. You can add that pause at the end and then inhale again. So that is your side plank for your left rib flare, really getting those obliques on, considering the reaches to bring anterior and posterior expansion, also getting the glutes on board as well. So we can manipulate different exercises to help control the position of the rib cage and help us get those obliques on board to help bring us into a better position.